All right, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It is another great Tuesday, a teaching Tuesday to be exact, here at CEO Mode Activated. And as you know, every Tuesday I'm bringing on an esteemed colleague, someone in the community who has some great information, just some great nuggets that they want to share and teach to you guys tonight. So, the great thing tonight, I get to stop yip yapping and pass the floor. So let me go ahead and add L to the conversation. I'm gonna let him take over. And you got it.
All right, all right. I've never been an esteemed colleague before, so this is new territory for me. We're gonna jump right into this. My name is L. Everybody knows me as the genius. Um, uh, I do everything, but tonight we're focusing on my job as a sales strategist and sales trainer. I am here to help you guys get better at selling. A lot of people believe that sales is a talent. It is not. Sales is a skill and it can be learned. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump right into it. Uh, I am not one of those stodgy teachers, so we can get if you got something to say, pop on in, unmute yourself, to holler at your boy. We're gonna keep it lively, keep it fun. Just a second as we get this broadcast in here. All right. Now, come on, we had this set up. 2 seconds. All right. Can we see the screen now?
Yes, we can.
All right. Raw sales, the art of getting paid for who you really are. So, biggest thing we're going to start with is you don't have a sales problem, you have a truth problem. What that means is salespeople are a dime a dozen. Everywhere you go, somebody's trying to sell you something. But the problem is the moment you feel like that's a salesperson, you tune out, you stop listening. You feel like, oh, here comes the sales pitch. But if somebody's giving you some truth that you need, you don't tune out. You tune in, you listen, you lean forward. That's what we're trying to get to is how do we engage these people in a way that doesn't feel salesy, you know? The disruption. There's a skill fallacy. If skill alone made people rich, every trained salesperson would be wealthy. Most people are simply performing sales. That's what we're talking about, that acting of being salesy. Buyers can feel that performance instantly and it creates a distance, a friction, and it's ultimately is a loss of trust because you've when you come off as a salesperson, you've put that wall up for them. That's the defense mechanisms are engaged, and that person is not going to listen to you. Sales is not about convincing. It's about alignment and perception control. The RAW system is something I developed for my students over the years. The RAW is an acronym that stands for realistic, analytical, and wealth building. It's realistic because we prefer truth over fantasy and creating authentic connections that beat out scripted performances. Analytical. This is a skill. So because it's a skill, you have to be able to break it down analytically. Pattern recognition, reading the signals instead of guessing what a person wants to hear. And in wealth, this is about lifetime value building over one-off deals. It's a poor salesperson that can only sell you one thing. I don't want to sell you. I sell roofing and construction right now. I don't want to sell you one roof. I want to sell you a roof. I want to sell you a foundation. I want to come back and hang your doors. I want to do your plumbing, your electrical. I want to do everything. And that success is built on leveraging those relationships that you're building. Realistic. We're gonna sell the truth. We're gonna stop selling fantasies. People trust what they feel is real. Authenticity is your currency. The connection that requires a vulnerability. When we say vulnerability, we're not saying tell these people all your business, but you have to have human moments with those people because you don't start selling until you stop being a salesperson. Until you're human to that person, you're just a clerk. You're another vendor. You're an ad, is what you are. The decision making process. Most people don't buy the best option. They buy the one that they feel is the most honest. And then you see in the little caption it says, life is beautiful not because of the things we see or the things we do. Life is beautiful because of the people we meet. The best salespeople I've ever met are people who actually like people and genuinely want to help people. One of the first things I've taught a lot of my students is we don't worry about what the profit's going to be. We want profits, obviously. Everybody likes money. I got bills too. But if you focus on outstanding customer service and building real connections, the money is a natural byproduct of that activity. You don't have to worry about the money. The money will worry about itself if you activate the right pleasure centers in these people's brains and get them engaged and connected to you. Analytical, pattern recognition. We read, we don't guess. Every buyer is signaling something. Sales is already recognizing those patterns before they're spoken. Also, so one of the first things that I teach people in this course, when you're looking at the patterns, we're not just talking about the pattern of that one person. We're talking about the pattern of all your clients. Whatever your product or service is that you're selling, there are only so many objections you're ever going to hear. What I started doing very early in my career was whatever the product I was selling, I waited to be told no. No's made me happy. Why did no make me happy? Because no gave me the ammunition to get the next yes. By hearing it, every time I heard no, I wanted to know why it was a no. Even if the customer wasn't going to buy from me ever, I wanted to know what that no, the reason for that no was. And I wrote all those no's down. Those no's were actually the basis for this system. Because every time I heard a no, I learned what their objection was. And then without the pressure of being in front of somebody, without the pressure of time or money on the line, I went through and I took those objections and broke those objections down and figured out what the root causes of those objections were. And then guess what we do? Because we know all the objections in our marketplace, we address those objections before they become objections. We negate those out the door. So when that person starts to think of that objection, you've already addressed it. You learn to interpret the silences, the tone, and the pacing to control the room. Then the last part of this is the wealth building part, the lifetime value. One deal is just the initial entry point for building trust. We repeat that process. That consistency builds authority. That authority builds reputation, which gets you the referrals. And now you're able to leverage that into getting paid more and more for your presence. I didn't start off teaching people how to sell. I started off learning to be a good salesperson. But now I've trained thousands of people on how to sell because I leveraged my presence and my activities to get to this point. This is nothing special about me. This is something anybody can learn. Closing is a success. Building lifetime value and having a repeatable system, that's what success is. So one of the things that is hard for beginning salespeople to understand is nonchalance. Being nonchalant is a sign of authority. There's a neediness that kills every deal. If you come in, oh please give me. There's a character on The Simpsons that is named Marv, and he's the stereotypical salesperson. He comes in, is like, oh my God, they're about to foreclose on my home. My car is repoed. Please buy this from me. That's what you sound like if you're coming in with that neediness. And nobody's going to buy from that guy. It's the running joke on The Simpsons. So you need to have the attitude that I don't need this sale. And that's why you're going to get that sale. Because we don't need every individual sale to make our money. We need to have the attitude and the consistency to build a system that gets us that money consistently. So that every sale, you're not micro-focused on that individual sale. That's not to say that we're not giving that customer in front of us our undivided attention, but we're not putting the focus of our financial well-being on their back. We're not putting that desperation on ourselves. Desperation is the worst cologne. People smell it a mile away. Whether that's sales, relationships, friendships, the moment you're desperate, you start losing things. Once we've understood the power of nonchalance, we have to understand how to control the room, which through a system we call dynamic dominance. There's a lot of people on social media who talk about being alpha males, being the biggest, the baddest, the most in charge in the room. the scientists who came up with the idea of alpha males in the wolf packs later recanted those statements. And when he recalibrated that, he said that what I understood as I observed more and further was that the alphas are only alphas in the situations that they are the best at. There's nobody who's the best at every situation. So there's sometimes where taking a step back is power. Taking a step back is leading. It's not intuitive, but it's real. You lead, then you yield, then you lead again. True authority is never forced, it's calibrated to the moment. You position yourself as a guide for your customer, not somebody who's begging, not somebody who's trying to use them or abuse them. This is all about building that trust and building that rapport. Another thing that builds that trust and asserts that dominance is candor, having a candid conversation and candid communications with the people. A lot of times, if you sound scripted, you sound like a liar. And you don't sound like somebody who's caring about that person. This person is not special if everybody gets the same script when they walk in the door. Hi, welcome to Walmart. How can I help you today? Hope you're having a great day. That's not special. That's not tailored to me. That's what you'd say to anybody who came in here. But if I get to a place where I'm tailoring my conversation, customizing my conversation for each customer, hey, I hope nobody's offended, but I cuss. I cuss a lot. But it's because the expectation is that I wouldn't cuss, that it takes me to a place of where, oh, this guy's real. He's just an average guy. He's not worried about trying to impress me with fancy sales jargon. He's not reading off a script. He's just having a conversation with me. This is how you bring those walls down that we talked about that were put up by that professional persona. And not to say don't be professional. That's not what I'm saying. But know when to let the mask slip a little bit. People want to get a glimpse behind the robot. They want to see how the sausage is made, so to speak. And when you're using candid conversations with a person and being very direct in the way you talk to them, you can create an immediate sense of intimacy. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the biggest closing objections you'll hear is, oh, well, I need to talk to my wife. That sounds good. I'd like to buy the XYZ, insert the widget here. I'd love to buy that from you today. But I really got to talk to the wife. You know how it is, man. You have been married or whatever. And instead of arguing with them or trying to convince them that they don't need to talk to their wife and tell them that what you want to do is have a real human moment with that person. Ask for permission to have that moment. Sir, I totally get it. Last thing I want you to do is be on the couch tonight because you made a decision without your wife. And can I talk to you man to man and be real with you for a moment? Sir, I get it. Women love when you involve them in the decision-making process and respect their authority and their power. That's fantastic. Kudos to you. But if I'm being real with you, there's something a woman loves to hear more than, hey, what do you think? What's your opinion, baby? What they really want to hear is, hey, the roof that we were talking about, don't even worry about it, baby. I already took care of it. Daddy got you. I took care of that. Get your dress on. We're going to go out to dinner with all the money I saved us on this new roof. The number of people who switched their mind and made that decision that they were adamant 2 seconds ago that they couldn't make is astounding. And it's not magic. I didn't do something impressive. All I did was have a real human moment with that person and allowed them to make a different decision that made sense for them. When you have those human moments, you interrupt the pattern. There's a natural ebb and flow in sales. I say buy this, you say no. I say why don't you want it? You say because, and then we go back and forth. And then it becomes tedious and it becomes adversarial. It becomes combative. But By inserting those human moments, those real moments of connection, you break down that pattern. And using that, you drop the corporate jargon. It becomes relatable. You let the truth breathe. You don't have to rush in to fill the gaps. When you drop your price on somebody, you don't say a word. You let it breathe. Because when we rush to fill those gaps with those silence moments, it shows that you're insecure or you're not sure about that price. Or maybe you're trying to do something that you understand why they wouldn't want to do it. I want to look like and appear to be so confident in the price I'm giving a person that I don't understand why you wouldn't. And if you talk over your sales, over your clothes, you're gonna kill yourself every time. Expectation framing. You want to tell the truth early and often. This is where we talked about overcoming objections before they become objections. You want to tell the customer about the problems that customers have had. I know, counterintuitive. We normally try and pave over and hide all the cracks in our facade. No, show them what's. Hey, what's gonna probably happen if for anything ever happens to this roof? What it probably would happen is you probably have a crack in your ridge vent. We've already got that covered though with the warranty. You just give me a call if that ever happens. It's very rare that that happens, but just in being transparent with you, sir, that's the thing that can happen. Texas gets really hot. The blah blah blah. Whatever the particular thing in your industry that you know can be a problem, or whatever you get the most complaints about, put that up front. If somebody wants to pay for something more expensive that doesn't make sense, tell them it doesn't make sense. Nothing builds that relationship like telling people, I don't want some of your money. I don't want all of your money. I don't need all of your money. Keep this. That's doing too much. If I were, one of the key phrases that you want to use is, if I were you and this was my house, or this was my business, or this was my body, my situation, whatever your business is related to yourself, if this were me, here's what I would do for myself. And here's why I would do it. So now you're painting a picture for a person, you're incorporating him into your vision. Is everybody with me? Are y'all still following me? Y'all awful quiet tonight. I can't see the chat, so if y'all are chatting, I don't know about it. Can anybody pop off?
Keep preaching. You cooking tonight.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So getting back to where we're talking about there, what we're also doing besides building that trust, we're removing surprises. So when the thing that we talk about happens, the customer says, "Oh, he told me that." In roofing, for instance, current business I'm in, a lot of times once we remove the shingles and demolish all the outer roof, we get down to the decking, the wood foundation under that roof, and it's destroyed. It's rotting. It's bad. And now it's going to cost thousands to tens of thousands of dollars more than my initial quote that we agreed to in our contract. I've had customers where I've had to go from a $12,000 roof to a $36,000 roof. That customer who paid 3 times more than they were promised up front still calls me, invites me to events with their family. Why? Because before we signed the contract for that $12,000, I said, "Hey, we've looked at the attic. We've seen some spots that have some rot. When I've seen that before, there's usually a lot more damage. I wish I had x-ray vision. I'm not going to be able to tell until we get the demo process done. If there is indeed more damage, I can't promise you that it's not going to be more expensive, but what I can promise you is that it's going to be a fair price, and I'm going to consult you about it. And you're going to tell me what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, this is your house. All I'll do is tell you what I would do in your shoes and then let you make the decision." Because I was transparent up front and I built that trust and I let them know that there was an expectation that there would be more work, they didn't even bat an eye when it was time to spend 3 more times what they had initially planned on spending. But that's not a talent. I'm not brilliant or lucky. That's a skill. I learned that because I got bit too many times in the ass by not telling somebody what was going on, and then having to fight with them to get them to do the right thing for themselves when I was genuinely trying to help them. You can also illustrate these things by using that client history. Like I told them, there's been several times when I normally see this, it normally means that, and here's what normally has to happen. Because I've qualified the situation, you don't have very many objections. There's, in most businesses, you're going to have 6 to 10 objections. There's very few products that have more than 6 to 10 objections. Very few services that have more than that. Can you learn 6 to 10 things? Anybody capable of holding 6 to 10 thoughts in their head?
Most definitely.
Okay. So if we can learn 6 to 10 things, then we can sell anything to anybody. Honestly. All right. So, and this slide keeps reverting back to color. Okay. So decision architecture. We don't push decisions. We structure the path so that the path forward is undeniable. And I know this is hard to see. I am so sorry about that. That outcome is a yes when if the person is feeling pushed, they don't they feel pushed into it, and that's where you get returns, you get cancellations is when they feel pushed into a decision. With the raw framing, they feel like this was an obvious decision that's aligned with their needs. If you get a no, it's a hard rejection. If you're pushy and you're just trying to sell and you're coming in with that desperation, that's no is a real no. But if you frame it the way we're framing it, it's just a necessary delay, or they're not quite ready, or they need to think about it. And we're going to talk about that more, about what happens when we get a no. That stays no for a while, because nobody's 100%. I'm close, but I'm not 100%. The power reversal. It's completely up to you. We talked about this a little bit already. You give them control to guide their thinking. When you stop pushing, they start pulling. Sometimes you're going to stop talking and let them ask you questions because you want them to feel control. You want them, the matter of fact, the more talking you can get the client to do, the quicker you can build their rapport. And here's the secret. Everybody's favorite topic is themselves. Everybody wants to talk about themselves. Everybody's got a little Kanye in them. So if we give the power to the customer to talk, most people will tell you how to sell them. You've probably heard some other sales guys say that before. It is so true. Everything you need to know to sell somebody, if you shut your mouth long enough and let them talk and really pay attention, they'll give you all the cards. They'll tell you everything they need to sell them. Over talking. Silence is a weapon. Noise is weakness. Over explaining. If you have to explain it 3 times, you've already lost the lead. Because what that means is that you didn't break it down enough. A lot of people get caught up in the jargon game. What the jargon game is this. You know your business really well. You know all the technical terms. You know all the specs. You know every single detail there is to know about your business. And so when you have to go explain it to somebody who's trying to buy from you, you talk to them as if they work there. Have you ever had somebody talk to you like you work at the store? Isn't that annoying?
Very.
I don't want to know how your register works, Mr. Walmart. I just want this cantaloupe and I want to go home. I don't want to hear about the produce. When it comes in off the truck, we had to bring it in, and sometimes the stickers get stuck on the inside of the crate, and that's why there's no sticker on this cantaloupe. I'm gonna have to go to the back. Just go get it. Go to the back, get the cantaloupe, so I can get it out of here. Over discounting. There is nothing that loses you a sale faster than giving it away for too cheap. Because here's the thing. You think, oh, well, I was selling it for $500, but I'm going to sell it to him. He said no at $500. So suddenly I'm going to sell it to him for $300. And in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I just saved him $200. He's going to be my best friend. He's going to love me. No, because that's not what he heard. That's what you thought you were saying. What he heard was, this guy tried to steal $200 from me. And if I hadn't been smart enough to tell this dude no, he would have robbed me for $200. And if he's still okay with $300, how much is he really getting off of this sale? How much is he robbing me now? Is there another $200 in this? Is another 300? Should this be free? That's the desperation that causes you to have problems. We don't drop price, we build value and be confident about it. If somebody challenges your price, you know what you need to charge so that you and your family can eat. And if you let somebody talk you out of it, a sale happened. They sold you on why you don't need to feed your family. They sold you on why you don't need to pay your mortgage. They sold you on why you don't need to live the life that you decided you wanted to live for yourself. So every time there's an interaction, somebody gets sold. Either you're selling or you're being sold. Be the one selling. Urgency through care. The second worst thing to do that causes that desperation feeling, other than dropping price for no reason with no explanation, and I do want to say this, if you do price drop, if you do, which is not to say that there's never a good time to drop a price, when you do, have a logical, reasonable explanation for why you dropped that price. Oh, I dropped the price because your hair's nice. It's a terrible reason for a price drop. You know, I did have one of those returned last week. It's still brand new, but in all fairness, because it's been out of the store, I can't sell it to you as new. So if you'll buy that one, I can drop it $200 for you because we need to get rid of it anyway. It's been sitting here and everybody keeps skipping over it because it's an open box or whatever. That's a reasonable reason for a price drop. Because you're a nice guy, I'm gonna give you a better price. Nobody believes that. You sound like a liar. Stop it. Urgency through care. We're not trying to pressure somebody into buying something. We're not creating a scarcity gimmicks. Well, there's only one, and you got to buy it today, or tomorrow. The sale's over tomorrow. We're not Walmart. We're not Target. We're entrepreneurs right now. Most people understand that we're making the prices. So trying to sell on scarcity or you got to do it right now is crazy. What we need to do is show concern and position it as, hey, I know that you need to start working out. And this gym membership is going to be the same price tomorrow. It's going to be the same price next week. But you're going to be another day, another week, another month away from your fitness goal. So you can start today or you can start today. How about today? Let's start today so we can start building and doing what you need to do. You don't want to, you're there, we've reframed it. We're not focused on what I need. I'm focused on what the customer needs. We don't want them to miss the opportunity to get what they want to sooner. You're delaying your growth. You're slowing your own progress. You're standing in the way of you getting over this. One of my favorite closes is, hey, I know how much fun it is talking to roofers. I know you want to talk to 17 more roofers, get 45 more quotes, and spend every day off and every evening after work talking to somebody about your roof. Oh, you don't want to do that. Okay, well, I guarantee you this price is good. I know the industry. We're within 10% of price of everybody else. And the best part is you won't have to talk to one more roofer and we'll get this done for you tomorrow. The sign right here. It's not about me. It's about them. And if you show them why it makes sense, it'll make you money. Concierge experience. Luxury is how you make people feel. You anticipate their needs, personalize everything from the conversation to the way you deliver the product. You make make the process effortless. Kat says this all the time. Make it easy for people to pay you. If it's hard for people to pay you, if it's hard for people to do business with you, they won't. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Look.
If you make it hard, you won't make money. If you make it easy, you make money easy. It's just that simple.
Facts.
I can't tell you how often I get frustrated at Walmart because they don't have no tap system. I just want to tap my phone and get my cantaloupe and go home. And you making me pull my card out. All right. Follow-ups. If there's anybody here who's been in sales ever, the first thing they try and preach to you is that there are no be-backs. Nobody's coming back tomorrow to buy that. If you didn't sell it today, you're a failure. I disrespectfully disagree. Right now, I have the highest closing percentage in the nation for my company, which is nationwide. That's why I'm on the commercials. And about 40 to 50% of my sales every month are follow-ups. Sincerely, follow-ups. Timing is always greater than technique. There's no salesperson so good that if they ain't got their check yet, I'm gonna make them buy it. Nobody's that good. There's nobody so good that if they don't need the product right now, you can make them buy it. You can probably bully somebody into doing something, but they're just gonna return it or cancel on you. So once you become a sales expert, you understand that no is rarely never. It's just usually not now. Let me ask you this. Is today the last day you want to eat?
No, no, it's not.
So you're going to eat tomorrow too. Okay, cool. So if I know I still need to eat tomorrow and that person's still going to need to buy something because they haven't solved their need, why am I pressing this person for to do this today as if there's no tomorrow? As if I don't still need money next week, if I don't need a sale next month. You respect the buyer cycle and you're persistent without pressuring them. There's a pattern I've always followed in follow-ups. So you tell me no today. Cool. I call you tomorrow. 24 hours, always, every time. Within 24 hours, call and touch base. Hey, I know you had a chance to sleep on what we talked about. How did you feel about that? Was there any questions that I didn't answer for you? I know we went over a lot. It can be confusing. If there's something I need to clarify for you, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that may help you in the decision-making process, regardless of who you deal with. Okay, so 24 hours, touched up, still a no right now. Still a no for now. A week later, hey, touching bases with you. Did you ever get that fixed? I know we talked a week ago. Want to see if you've gotten that taken care of. And then every 2 weeks and you don't stop calling. You don't want to be a bugaboo. Worst song Destiny's Child ever made. Being bugaboos get what they want eventually. Because if they haven't bought, they're still in the market to buy. And the only way you know that they haven't bought is you called them and found out they still haven't bought. So they haven't bought from you yet. But the good news, the great news is they haven't bought from anybody else. And they're still in the market. Follow-ups are money on layaway. It's money that's coming eventually. You just don't know what day, but that's all right. I'll gladly take a check, unexpected check. One of the things you can tell them, hey, let's revisit this when it makes sense. You leave the door open. You provide value, not pressure, and you be the authority that they'll return to. One of the biggest things that my customers' feedback is, and I've got 5-star Google reviews from most of my customers. And the thing they always tell me is, I was more informative than everybody else they talked to. Everybody else just tried to sell me. You educated me. Quick story. I was opening a mattress giant in Hurst, Texas. My assistant manager didn't show up for work that day. And it's a 2-man operation most days. 8 couples walked in. And most salespeople would have focused on whoever looked like they had the most money and let the other 7 couples walk. What I did instead was I told them, hey, there's 16 of y'all. There's no way I can help all of y'all right now unless we do it in a different way than what we normally would do. So if y'all will permit me, what I'm going to do is give y'all a brief education on mattresses. We'll call it a sleep seminar. And at the end, if you want to buy, awesome. I'll be glad to ring you guys up and take care of you. But otherwise, I don't want to neglect any of you guys. So I spent an hour talking to all 8 of these couples about the difference between mattresses and types of foams and adjustable bases. Spent an hour. By the time I was done, I'd sold all 8 couples and had set a new sales record for a single day. I sold $32,000 worth of mattresses in the first hour that we were open for the day. And it's because I didn't let the moment overwhelm me, and I wasn't worried about if they said no or yes. I just presented the information, showed myself to be an authority, showed myself to be a human, and the rest took care of itself. Like I said at the very beginning, if you do the things that you need to do to build those relationships and build that rapport, the money is the byproduct. It can't be your goal. The money is the byproduct. The goal is to be the best at presenting the product or service that you're selling in the best way possible. The performance shift is when you go from being scripted and pushy to observant and controlled and calm. If you have an outcome dependent sales, that creates anxiety. Whereas if you're being truth centered and person centered, those sales create wealth over time. This is something that's not only teachable and that you can learn, this is something that's repeatable. And it doesn't matter what product it is. I've sold cars, I've sold beds, I've sold roofs, I've sold insurance. It doesn't matter. I've always been one of the best in my field in sales. And this is not boasting. This is just proof of concept. It doesn't matter what the product is. I tell people all the time, if you tell me 3 facts about something, I can sell it. It's not a talent. It's a skill. It's a skill I learned. I paid attention to a lot of really great salespeople and refined what they were teaching me and learned, more importantly, learn from the mistakes of other people. We want our lessons vicarious. So if you're thinking in real time, we're trying to empathize. We want to understand what they're feeling in the moment. When we feel that pushback, that friction, we want to pinpoint exactly where the resistance is coming from, because we can't fix a problem that we can't identify. So once again, the friction should be minimal though, if you're following the system, because you've already done what? You've already covered those objections and you've already identified potential problems for them. You gave them the secrets to what's going to be a problem for them up front. And then alignment. What needs to align for them to say yes? And there's no need to be, you don't have to be a detective or be sneaky about it. You can just outright ask somebody. So what is it that you're looking for this to do for you? What do you need this to look like? What's that, like if you're selling a car, what's your ideal car look like? What's it do that your current car is not doing? What's wrong with your beds you have now? That you're in here shopping for a bed. You're not in here window shopping. Nobody does that. So what are you looking for exactly? Because I don't want to waste your time. I want to show you exactly what you want. And then you tell me if you want it or not. Nonchalance. Identifying objections. Creating alignment. Being empathetic. This is things that if you repeat this process and you work on it, it becomes natural. This becomes what's funny is when you've done this long enough in this way, this starts to bleed over into your way of dealing with relationships. You become a better communicator in your interpersonal life because now you're actually paying attention to what your mate is saying or your friends are saying or your children are saying. Perception and positioning. This is where we shift into the wealth. Your income is not based on effort. I know we all want to grind. Hustle culture, baby. We grind hard all day. You think Bill Gates grinds hard all day? Does Elon look like he's working hard? It's not based on effort. It's based on how you're perceived and where you're positioned in the market. I said earlier that about 40% of my sales are follow-ups. About a third of my sales are referrals because of how I'm perceived and where I'm positioned in the market. Their friends will tell them, "Hey, you need to talk to L, the dude from New House Roofing. Yeah, that dude knows more about roofs than anybody." I didn't know anything about roofs 2 years ago when I got into this business. It's something I learned, but I made myself an expert. That's another thing, is you should always be an expert about whatever your product is. Whatever it is, put the time in. This is a skill, and you've got to put the work in. You want to shift that identity. Am I a salesperson begging for time, pushing for quotas, sounding like everyone else? If I sound like everybody else, I'm going to get what everybody else gets. And everybody's not number one. Everybody's not one of the best. Am I authority? Am I someone that people trust with their decisions and their future? Those are questions that we don't need to answer right now, but you need to answer those questions for yourself. If you find yourself sounding like a salesperson, you're being a salesperson. And that'll get you some money, but it won't get you the money that you really want. Finally, selling is not talking, it's diagnosing and guiding. Is there somebody who can come off mute real quick? And let's walk through a couple of, like an example real quick. I want to see if we're getting the point of what we're talking about here. Anybody?
I got you, partner.
All right. All right. So, Miss Shay, what's your product you're selling right now?
Outside of Crown and Crave,
Outside of our business, right?
outside of our business, custom cakes, treats, and event planning.
Okay. You feel like you can sell me a cake?
Absolutely.
Okay. Hi, Miss Shay. I've got a birthday coming up for my daughter Elle. She's turning 10 in July. I heard you make some pretty good cakes, and I wanted to see what your price is for like a really nice princess cake, 2 tiers or something. Some kind of fancy. She likes them princesses. What you got?
Okay. Absolutely. First, I need to know a little bit more about Elle. I know you said that you wanted a princess cake for her. Um, we are really big on customizing the cake experience for you, so we don't want to go typical for her cake. Tell me a little bit about when you think princess, what does that look like?
Oh, she loves that. What's that movie? Princess and the Frog with Tiana, I think, or Tiara, or whatever. The black girl, the black prince.
Tiana. Tiana, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. So are we looking for something more traditional, or are we looking for something that's really a showstopper for her?
I mean, I don't know, but she kind of fancy, so let's get her something cool, something fancy for her. But I'm not trying to spend all my money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We definitely don't want to go broke on a one-time experience, but a custom cake is just that. It's something that is going to be a once in a lifetime experience for her. She's never going to have another cake like this one, and she's never going to have this birthday again. So we'll definitely keep your budget in mind, but we want to make sure that we also consider your little princess as well. So
Okay,
I
so I'm gonna
have
stop you
a
real quick. I'm
couple.
gonna stop you real quick.
Mhm.
I want it, and I'm stopping you because you did something great. I want everybody to pay attention to the fact that she didn't brush off the fact that I was concerned about price, because that's disrespectful and it feels like you're playing with me if you do that. But what she did do was address the value of the thing, and not value meaning money, the value of how it's going to make my daughter feel, how singular the experience is going to be, and how once in a lifetime it's going to be for my daughter. I came in to buy my daughter a cake. I love my daughter. So she focused on the main objective. She diagnosed the problem, and now she's guiding me towards the solution. Go ahead.
The next thing I would need to know is about how many people we'd like this cake to feed and when you would need.
I'm gonna probably have like 15 to 20 of them little greedy kids from the neighborhood over at the house, plus the grown-ups. So probably like 30 people, I guess.
Okay, and I know you mentioned two-tier for that amount of people because it is a party, and more than likely we're not talking wedding slices, we're talking party slices. And if I can just be frank with you, we're talking about Black people party slices. So
Mm.
I'm going to say,
Man.
absolutely. We're
Mm.
probably going to want to look at about an 8-inch bottom and a 6-inch top. My layers are pretty thick, so you should be able to get a decent amount of servings from that.
Okay. Well, hey, you sound like you know what you're talking about. So, yeah. Um,
So what I'll do next is I'll go ahead and gather up a couple design since you're not quite sure what it is you're looking for. I'll go ahead and put together a couple design options, different color schemes, and send over a few things to you as well as a quote. And we can add on or remove as needed.
okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So, can I give you a brief suggestion? Just
Absolutely.
did fantastic. The one thing I would have done at the very end is I would have asked for the deposit right then. So, um, because you're doing work. As soon as you start making those options and putting together the designs for this customer, you're already working. So I'd have been like, we're gonna put together those options for you. All I need is $100 deposit, and we'll go from there. You'll be, and we'll make sure that your baby girl has the best cake ever. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Thank you, Shay, for helping us with us. All right. So, guys, this isn't surface level. This is work. I'm not gonna BS you. This is not something that's intuitive or natural. It's a skill. Again, I keep saying that because it's real, and I don't want to properly set your expectations. But if this resonated with you, you already know the power of raw. If you felt what she was doing there, that's that's it right there. It felt natural. That didn't feel forced. It didn't feel contrived. It was very conversational. She did the thing where we painted herself as human. She was talking to a black man. She knew she was talking to a black guy, so she said, "Hey, you know how them black people slices be?" That humanized her. I was like, "Oh yeah, heck yeah." Oh, now I didn't even think about that. Now she's built that rapport, she's built that trust, she's established herself as an expert. I'm gonna be able to buy that cake confident that I'm getting what I'm supposed to get for my baby girl, not guessing. Who is this for? Um, not trying to push anybody to buy anything because I'm not trying to be a salesperson. But if you're done trying to sound like everybody else and you're ready to get paid for your presence instead of just for the product or the service that you're offering, and you're ready to operate differently, I will be doing a much more in-depth seminar. Um, and Kat, I appreciate the opportunity to be in front of this group. So normally the full access for the guided workbook, the 2-hour small group instruction, and Q&A with me is normally $199. But if anybody who showed up for this call wants to join up, I'll be doing a special CEO mode activated price of only $99.99 for anybody. Don't have to decide now. You got time. I'll be doing that on May the 30th. So you got time. It's not limited time only. But I do appreciate everybody's time and attention, and I think that's our time, guys. We're right at we're at 7:54. So, any questions? We got a couple time for a couple questions. If anybody wants to, let me stop sharing the screen.
Well, first things first, let me just say that I appreciate you coming on and sharing just all that great information because even, with myself, I find myself trying to close the deal and close the sale right then and there, which not
Yeah.
saying that you can't, but when you say that the fortune is in the follow-up, you have to believe that and stand on that. But also, what I appreciated about what you said is that in order for you to know if there's still a need, you got to follow up. You got to call them. You know what I'm saying, to determine that. Because if you call and if they still haven't did the thing, right? That means that there's still an opportunity. And until they tell you to stop or stop calling or stop bugging me or whatever, like,
Right.
keep pushing. So I definitely appreciate, the perspective, and I appreciate, some of those reminders, that you don't have to be pushy to be a great, salesperson. I do want to ask, I know that you open up the floor for questions, but before we do so, can I get two people just to unmute themselves real quickly? I know most aren't on camera, but can I get two people just to unmute themselves and just give L his flowers tonight? I see Shay.
Yeah, I didn't want to overtalk because I feel like I just spoke, but I want to say that what you just spoke on and him mentioning that put a bug in my ear. That I reach out to people, I congratulate people on their prom pictures, and I'm like, hey, if you guys need a graduation cake, and they're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They seem really excited. They like my posts and everything, and I'm still working on my follow-up. So I'm actually going to circle back and reach out to everyone that I've been already talking to and a couple other people that showed interest. That has definitely put that bug in my ear. I've been hearing it too much. I gotta step it up. So thank you for that, El. Thank you for that, and thank you for Kat for kind of reiterating that. That definitely shined a light on an opportunity for me.
You're definitely welcome. Real quick, Kat, what you said
ahead.
about the follow-up thing, that, here's the thing. It's easy to lie. If I call you and you just don't want to be bothered, it's super easy to say, oh, yeah, I already bought something from somebody else. If they still tell you that they haven't bought, they're still engaged with you. That's still an active customer. You're not bugging them. So just frame
Amazing
that.
point. Amazing point. Thank you. Because I think that some people do feel intimidated. Man, I'm bothering them and this, that, and the third. But that's an amazing perspective, an amazing point. Like you said, people can lie or just not even answer the
Answer the
phone.
phone. It's too easy to get. It's too easy to get
So
rid of you.
exactly. So that's a great perspective. So I appreciate you saying that. It looks like Miss Walls, you have yourself unmuted. Did you want to say a few words?
Yes. I find myself with the part of I'm struggling with either with the taxes or with my jewelry or with the book is coming off like needy. Not that I'm needing the money, but if you set a goal for yourself and you're trying to set that goal of selling this many books for this week or getting these many returns done this week. So that's what I'm really, because I find myself even telling myself, I'm sounding like I'm desperate or I'm sounding like I'm needy. And I don't want to come off like that to the customer and run the customer away or the client or whatever. So I really struggle with that. And I like and appreciate the tips that you gave and the skills of breaking it down, of not trying to sound like that. And that's something that I do need to work on.
Well, Ms. Walls, I appreciate that. And one of the things I do talk about more in depth is the psychology, not only for the customer psychology, but our psychology as the person selling.
Right.
What's your self-talk like? That's very important because there's a process for getting yourself in a selling mindset. You do better to not even show up to sell if your head's not in it. Because you're gonna push away somebody that you could have sold if your mind's not set the right way.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like I said, this is something that you can learn. It's just repetition and time. But you're gonna get there. I just appreciate. I see all the work you're doing and how all your different projects. Kudos. You stepping out on faith on a lot of different places, and it's gonna pay off. So keep going.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's amazing. Well, guys, we have come to the end of tonight, but thank you so much, Elle, for all that great information. I will drop the replay in the group. So if you want to drop your link on how you want to, the offer that you have, or if you want to post that on Flexing Friday, whatever works. But nonetheless, I will be dropping that replay. So guys, if y'all want to tap into that, then most definitely take advantage of that. But guys, again, thank you for those that tuned in live. I hope this blessed you tonight, and helped you, with your perspective. We'll be tapping in tomorrow for Wind Down Wednesday. Shamika is hosting the first book club. We're doing month 1 of the book club, so tap in if you can. And if not, we'll see you guys next Tuesday for another Teaching Tuesday. But thank you guys so much for tapping in. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.